there for your specific region, and you make sure they're doing well, you know. Give them all that support that they might need to make sure that you get your prizes at home.
Absolutely. That's what, you know, that's from the interviews that we've seen. That's what all of these teams have been saying. You know, we love the support from the fans. It really helps to keep us going. It really helps to drive that passion. So make sure you guys at home are tweeting, using the hashtags, using all of that, making sure that you're getting them supported. Beautiful stuff.
Hashtag PMGC. You got this.
Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. And of course, remember the art competition as well. Using the hashtag PMGC.
Yeah, remember that one.
At the accounts as well, because we'll be giving out some prizes for that.
I want to see you cuties hitting us up with that beautiful talent that we know you have at
Hell
home.
Yeah.
Express yourselves. Express yourself.
Maybe I should enter.
Maybe
Do you think I'm allowed?
I think you could. I think you'd fail.
Oh, that's very rude.
We've already had some really damn good submissions already, so I don't know.
Well, here's my submission for a plane path blank. What do you think about it?
I think it's a little bit rough, actually. Specifically for Aerowolf Limax, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to actually head down towards Sosnovka. As you can already see, they are moving up towards Kameshki instead, which is fair enough here. So this is the first angle plane path I've really seen that's caused too much of an issue for a lot of teams, where, as you keep mentioning, John, you need to have that secondary drop spot to make sure in these situations you don't have issues like this happening. And we have a very central circle here with quite a bit of Sosnovka involved, so your prediction could come true here, John.
We'll see, we'll see. It wasn't a prediction, it was a guarantee.
It was a guarantee, sorry.
Fair enough. What I'm paying attention to at the moment, you can see in the middle of the map there, NovaXQF, look at the spread, RRQ in Pachinki.
Wild.
In the middle of two of those players. That's a huge split coming through. I'm expecting Law to grab a vehicle and move down south towards Potato Hill. That's what we've seen him do before, unless they've decided that that is not the rotation they want to make. It was a similar circle when they chose to do that last time, so might be a little bit of adaptation coming in.
Yeah, Order just picks up the guaranteed vehicle here and will just move out towards the rest of his team. Having those old vehicles on board is really nice. And plus, he knows that he can head down towards the coastal side because of the plane path itself. He's not expecting a lot of teams to be down there towards Ferry Pier, Primorsk Quarry. So these yellows are pretty free for him to loot up. It's decent, nice and easy for him, and he can head up towards the rest of his team. And it gives the rest of his team actually in Gatka, where the loot is a little bit sparser, to get more looted up, because there's only 3 people there taking all the loot as opposed to 4.
Futbolist, they dropped all the way to the south edge, just south of Konina Power, who are on your screens right now in Milta. And I think they might be looking to drop all the way over towards Novo. They still are in those parachutes, so they haven't hit the ground just yet. Looking for a long drop there, because the plane path was not actually pretty far away there. It went over Prison and over Milta Power, so you can see how long of a drop they're going for.
Well, I mean, they can see exactly who went down to Sosnovka, and I'm pretty sure they'd be like, actually, no one's gone down here. It was a big risk, though, because say the circle actually went up to the north side, they'd be wandering for quite a while, because they do not get to drop very early. As you can see, we're already 3 minutes 20 into the game. Most teams try and aim for that 2-minute mark of, we've looted, now we can start to rotate. That's a very fast rotate from most teams, but they do like to be looted up by that time. Aerowolf Limax up towards Stalba and Kameshki, John.
Speaking of fast rotations, though, you've got Secret Jin as well starting to push over towards Stalba. They dropped actually over towards shooting range, so they've made quite a fast rotation. And in fact, Aerowolf Limax probably aren't expecting this. This isn't something we've seen from them before.
Well, I mean, most teams are going to be quite curious on this map, I would imagine, because they are starting to figure out where the secondary drop spots are, where are teams going to be hiding. So we're probably going to have something similar to what we saw at the very start of the tournament, where teams are playing quite cautious, a little bit less on the money ball, right, because they know where everyone's dropping. Short down here towards Milta is a little bit more familiar. Bigetron obviously in farm. This is their general spot. They go here all the time. RRQ and Pachinki, so you don't need to be careful around there. But Team Secret around Ruins, this is a nice little spot for them. They're quite happy here. They can do some decent rotations and execute towards Georgia Pol as well. Coming down past Hospital is nice and easy for them. They do have to come through Abrupt Slayers, who are currently in 13th place.
Circle, as you said, very central, and there's Law, who's managed to make that rotation down south that we talked about before. The hard scout coming through there over towards Potato Hill. Was a little bit later than it was in previous games that we've seen him do this, so maybe a little bit more loot on board, but the rest of Alpha 7 now moving down south to join. Obviously, Potato Hill is this feature of the map that we talk about quite a lot, and it's such a significant part of the rotations through the center of the map, isn't it, Blake?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dropping down here, it provides so much information going forward. You can see pretty far out towards Rozhok, pretty far out towards down Farmway, as well as Pachinki. it's just a really nice stop-off spot for a lot of these teams. Like, it may not necessarily be the place that you remain and you stay, although with the new Erangel update, there's some nice little bunkers up there that you can play around, but most teams won't opt to remain in this location for too long. Team Secret Jin, you were talking about them before though, John. They're actually making their way up to the northeast side of the map, potentially rotating around the eastern side of Stahlber, in which case they might actually meet up with Aerowolf Limax.
Could be interesting, could be interesting. And actually what else is interesting is that Bigetron seem to have taken a leaf out of Alpha 7's book. They've sent Luxy out as their scout, aggressively from farm to take a position relatively central. Not quite all the way up to Potato Hill, but playing a little bit forwards there, trying to get ahead of the curve, ahead of the game, after getting a little bit of loot on board. Loops, they've moved into the western edge of Pachinki, right in the middle of the map, and they'll be seeing what they can find there.
It's a nice spot actually for Loops, heading up towards Churchway, especially considering how central this circle is. Having church control is really strong for them, particularly for RRQ, and here you have the boys on the back of the vehicle just making on their way out.
Lovely little pickup there from Microboy. Didn't even stop the bike. He just swung around. Nice turning curve there. Federal hits the shots and D2E falls. Hang on a minute. That was the DP from Koyovsky coming through. And actually, they get the flush. That is a huge pickup on the Pachinki squad for Loops.
Yeah. This is the oversight that I was talking about, John. It's fantastic from Loops, and they've already got one kill, significantly weakening RRQ going forward, and now Loops can start to consider whether they want to make the full commit to this, try and take out the other teams, but RRQ, they can no longer hold down Pachinki as effectively as before, and they have to head to the other side. Carrillo already making his way up, starting to explore some of the buildings towards this west side of Pachinki.
Over XQF as well on the south and on the southern end. They've coalesced together, finally. They did have that player out to the eastern side, actually Order 6, who has come back down on that south side. You can see, well, you can't see at the moment, but on the minimap, they are playing a 2-2 split on the south side of Pachinki, so they've covered a lot of angles, and they are going to be grouped back up. So, once more, they have managed to fall back together, which is what you said you were going to be looking for, especially on Erangel. This is what we saw at the start of the day.
I think that, to be fair, having a map that is your map is not necessarily a bad thing. If you can get your points on this map, it's absolutely fine.
And if there's a map to do it, it's Erangel.
It's Erangel, because we play a lot more of this map, so it works in Nova SQF's favor. I'm not saying that they can let Sanhok Vikendi slip. I think they definitely need to bring that up in their like books, you know, right now. But to be honest with you, they cannot play this similar playstyle that we've been seeing from before, which is just absolutely reckless, where they're throwing teammates in to try and get wild kills, especially on Erangel. You have to excel somewhere, and if it's going to be here, I'm okay with that.
Execute need to, well, they don't need to, but they might want to look to push in. Team Secret slipping under the position that they hold currently near ruins towards those compounds in the foothills of Everest that are so valuable for controlling these rotations up north and from the north as well. But unfortunately for them, they are at the back of the queue, which means that they're not really going to be able to stop anyone. The advantage that gives them is scouting moving forwards, and they can choose to actually go for a lot of different positions. For instance, if there is a heavy southern shift, they can swing around that western edge, and they are going to be a lot less challenged than a lot of teams who have sent center first.
There's still possibility for Sosnovka, John.
Definitely.
Potentially.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a see as this next circle does just begin to move. Heads over towards the bridge side. I hate this circle so much. I've seen this happen in various different tournaments where you get this nasty circle that pops on the south side between Ferry Pier and just the outside of Sosnovka. And there's like literally nowhere you can play in that situation. It happens more often than you might think as well.
Difficult to play around, difficult terrain, but these are the best teams in the world, Blank. Maybe they've got a couple of tricks up their sleeve. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if the circle does end up there. But there seems to be a heavy clustering around Pachinki, which is actually not too common. It's not something you see all that often, right? You don't want to send into a settlement before you need to.
Yeah.
So playing so close to it is an interesting decision for a lot of these squads.
I think most teams have had to make their way down from the north side, and this is just a pretty typical, you know, pit stop for most of these teams in Pachinki. It's absolutely fine. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but with how central this is, it is just this stop-off zone for these teams who have dropped on the eastern side, coming down from the north, and it's just created a massive, jam-packed area here filled with players.
It is jam-hot, full of players. That's right, it's jam-hot, full of players, Blank.
It's jam-hot.
It's jam-hot. Nova XQF, one of those teams on the south side, controlling a lot of the terrain areas of that part of the map. But you can see they are going to regroup again. They're giving ground. They know how dangerous it is to play so split. They want to keep all of their players alive. Nova XQF currently sat in 6th place, of course. They want to try and push on up, keep up with their countrymen. 4 angry men who are a little bit further south than they are.
So very bold, though, from Nova XQF. They are opting to go for this center now. So this is something that they are actively doing. This is not something that is happening purely because the circles are heading on top of them anymore. They are looking for these positions.
And find them they will at the moment. They have gone right to the middle. 4 angry men on the south coast, as I said before. They might be in with a pretty decent spot here. They won't have a lot of teams to contest with. Futbolist really the only challenge to that. But even then, I don't imagine Futbolists are going to want to send out to the east. I'm assuming that they think that there's a lot of players who could be there, a lot of teams who that is in their rotation path. They might just look to go out towards one of the compounds around Ferry Pit.
RQ here, though, just looking out towards loops. Getting a little bit spooky as loops get a little bit too close, and Carrillo trying to bait out those shots. The cheeky little bugger there. Hopefully they can get around the corner, but I mean, right now, RRQ just holding it down for the time being. It's not too bad. But something's definitely going to happen soon between those two teams.
Power 888 and Aerowolf Limax on the northern throws of the circle on Rossok Hill. Currently coming into contact, but not really having anything come from it. Secret Jin as well, further out north.
Team Secret Jin want to make their way down. Aerowolf Limax, like you said, have actually made this rotation. Team Secret Jin opting not to get into a bit of a bullfight between the two as they headed into the circle. Bluebees just south of Ruins right now. There are a couple of shots coming through. I believe that is Aerowolf Limax taking shots onto Power 888 here as they try and rotate into the circle. But they've got this nice ridge side to play around. G9 being the sentinel of RRQ, not moving a muscle.
Just gathering that information. We saw that rotation earlier with Aerowolf Limax and Power 888 across the Headshot Hills. That area so open, but a lot of ridge lines that you're going to be playing. So you peek one over, you silhouette yourself, and immediately your head is departed from your body. It's such a difficult place to play around. That is a shift blank. You talked about this difficult bit of terrain. Looks like we're going to see it. Loops, though, they do get spotted, and that's actually RRQ who get the first knock.
Yeah, I mean, Carrillo, he was playing with fire the way he was leaping about in the open with a pin on his back there. He was saying, please kick me, essentially. And eventually RRQ, they obliged. But most teams will want to make a quick movement here. Team Secret instantly go down. You've got Abrupt Slayers also making their way down to the hillside. 4 AM were in a really good position to take strong spots just outside of Sosnovka. But do they know that there is a team that was on Sosnovka that dropped wide onto Novo?
Well, the fact is that Futbolists have to rotate in these vehicles, so there should be a noise warning coming through. Will they be able to slip past as Bigetron are going to crash potentially into this area as well? Might be a tricky fight that ensues on the southern side, but this northern cluster of teams seem to be all condensing towards Gatka.
I mean, this is really the only spot to go through, and most teams, they will just have to make this road race right now, John, because through Gatka Fields, you cannot afford to stop. Look how open it is as all these teams trying to make their way down, but it's Digital Athletics, who actually have a really nice position on the western side of the circle. They're going to be gatekeeping all this team, but can they stem the absolute tsunami wave of teams that's coming down on the western here? I would probably just give it up if I was there.
I'm counting 5 teams there, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 4. Honestly, too many to count in a glance, and it looks like there might be one less as Aerowolf Limax capitalize on this chaos. They find the shots over onto Execute. Zute low behind the hay vehicle, hay vehicle and Bale. Let's go with that. Sure, why not? But that's unfortunate for Potato. Even more chaos comes through. A Secret Jin chime into the fray. Find the rundown and another shot down.
And on their way.
Spooner. And Secret Jin just sent on through the middle of this thing, and Execute still have to slow down. The vehicle did get blown up there for Zute, so they have to keep the pressure on and continue on foot. Such a difficult push. Aerowolf continuing to feel the punishment here.
Ronaldo actually making his way through with his teammates, but look how much of the field hold in this area. It is disgusting. Abrupt Slayers and Klas Digital Athletics have the decent position when it comes to the hillsides. If Salim all the way down on the southwest too, just as a forward scout across the road, making sure they're able to hold together. Right now we've got Konina Power and Nova XQF on the northeast side. This will determine who actually makes it to the circle.
So close to the 2 players from Konina Power there. They're very, very close, and everyone will have to move. The shots start to come through. One player did get knocked up front. It's Order 6. Gonzo was traded back. Coolboy on the off angle. Do they know he's here? He's 1v2 right now. Do they have the backup? He looks for one, gets the spray. Is there any more to follow for Konina Power? I don't think there is, as they're just getting knocked left and right. Rubdini gets flushed, so did Order 6, and Axa just sends for the hills. He doesn't want to go down here. Nova XQF send Konina Power packing from Pachinki, but they've got a huge shift to make.
They do have a buggy though, but that will only take 2 players with them. They finish off the final player in Gonzo on the northeast side. Loops will be waiting for them, and another shift comes through, and Salim, actually with his forward scan position across the road underneath the hillside, proves perfect for Klas Digital Athletics. They're able to move together. Futbolist, they've had an easiest time right now.
I was going to say, I tell you who's laughing, it is Futbolist right now. Brilliant spot for them. At the moment, Power 888 sending, I think that might be their last player, Corpai, down towards the south, and might just get spotted out there. Not going to be too easy to keep that one going. A very, very difficult rotate now as the northern side continues to be a killing field.
Corpai will go down, and that is Power 888 going down in 16th. Paraboy trying to make his way in through the blue, and not sure why Nova XQF held so long on that northeastern side though, John. I felt like they were in a decent position to actually make it to the circle, but maybe they were concerned that if they razzed it across so much of that field, then it would have proved treacherous for them. They still have time right now where the blue isn't ticking for a huge amount of damage that they can actually try and make their way in, but there are a few teams ahead of them, namely 4AM. That's Execute going down as well. That's Kill Switch. We still have a couple of players on the northern side though.
Zute able to get the knock onto Swagwin, and another player sending in, maybe trying to capitalize, but Viti2K runs for the hills again. Zute keeps that foot going, that foot race, the march towards the, actually they'll find themselves a UAS because they did obviously get the knock over there. Team Secret get eliminated on the sidelines now. Everyone starts to crunch in. Loops have managed to find themselves right in the middle of the circle. They sneak through the gaps.
Yeah, within the tree line. This area has so many trees around it as you head down onto Sosnovka. But it's Bigetron who've moved in from farm side. Obviously, remember, they had a pretty decent spot to move into this circle. Now they're coming up on top of Futbolist. Kayovski is on the other side of the road too, playing a similar role as Salim did for Klas Digital Athletics to allow them to try and get across to set up those smokes for the rest of his team.
Kayovski, not too sure if he saw Solke there, but Solke certainly saw Kayovski. This is an aggressive push from Kayovski to take a position south of the road. If they can keep it, they might have a chance if it shifts further south. Bigetron, though, they're pushing in from the east on towards Futbolist's position, and RRQ, again, trying to play wide swing king. Ernie and Beer 11, the 2 players for them.
Yeah, you truly got to be a master woodsman here because you'll be playing in the woods, but it's Bluebees versus Team Secret. Jin, oh my lord, by the skin of his teeth.
Cosmos on a sliver of HP, doesn't quite go down. All 4 of them are alive as well. They're looking to get those reses. They are not in the zone. How much time do they have? Because they should be able to get all of them through. Can they get into the circle as well, though? That's going to be difficult.
Very difficult indeed, John.
Especially if they get spotted.
Still here. The one you screen versus Abrupt Slayers. Now in position in the circle. I mean, this could go anyway. If this drops to the south again, no Futbolist, they'll be doing more than laughing. They'll be cackling.
Abrupt Slayers, these, as I said, if they get spotted, Secret Chin are going to struggle real hard right now, and it's just 2 kills found for Leon as he sees the off angle and the sprays continue to go. 2K was in the blue zone, and now it's just Cosmos, the savior of that fight, but so far, it's looking pretty treacherous to keep on moving forwards. 13 teams remain.
Nexo comes through, and the circle will split this one in half, and barely any kind of compounds here other than shacks. You're going to be hiding in the woods here, the forests. So many teams ahead of Nova XQF as well. It's going to be hard to get in. But what's this? Jimmy's sent straight into the circle.
Right to Kayovski as well, going right over the top, maybe even looking for a rundown. Is he going to be able to hit it? I'm not even sure.
He's right on top of
straight in. Jimmy, low HP and goes down. Solke's the one to get the frag there. Okay, fair enough. Here's a kill for you. Kayovski baited out into the open, but the shots don't quite land. Gets the point either way.
I mean, now though, the rest of Nova know exactly how many players in that unit. Now they're sending right to the edge of the circle, and both get taken down by Bigetron.
Carrillo as well, silhouetting there. Nova XQF get eliminated on the push along the roadside. Loops struggling as well. The split is not paying off for them, Blank. They are having a tough time of things, but there's still 2 of them alive. Dadin and Kayovski, both still in the fight.
Fantastic stuff from Bigetron here, just biding their time. As for, they know with such a hectic circle, circle. They want to minimize casualties as much as possible. There are so many teams on the northeastern side who want to make their way in. Forum's had a great position on the hillside this entire game. They have a 2-2 split currently right now, making sure that the backside is clear, but they will have to make their way into the circle soon.
Aerowolf Limax with one player now standing. Spalv up in the northern side, and Axa still trying to frag out behind the tree. Spotted out by Shinhei, though. It's going to be very tricky for him to make this push. Not really going to have any smokes to play with either. And is consumed right now. This should be it. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he makes that push. 4 Angry Men pick up another. They're up to 4 kills blank. 10 teams remain.
We go look at this. We've got 3 teams with 4 members alive. It's Klas Digital Athletics with such a good rotation early on. Very fantastic stuff. I mean, their rotations have been pretty heads up this entire tournament, to be quite honest with you. It's just sometimes it felt like they got a little bit unlucky, or just not able to finish out those fights. But damn, it feels like it's a very, very smart team right now.
Beer 11 did get spotted, did get knocked as well. Alpha 7 lose a player in the center of the circle. On the coastline, it's actually Bigetron who spot out Beer 11. Oh, I think he saw him just on the scope there. We'll see the crawling Beer 11. Needs to land the shot, but gets suppressed by the nades from Futbolist. They push him back further up the ridgeline, but Loversin is going to get tagged up by Ernie and fragged down as well. It's another point for RRQ, and Beer 11 makes it for the res.
I mean, look at this, though. Bigetron with 4 members alive. The deaths we're talking about, once they get into that movement, that groove, then they keep on grooving. So are they going to hit another chicken dinner here, John? Let's find out as we see the rest of this game unfold.
Or it could be the tortoise story of RRQ from the south. Wouldn't that be quite a turn-up for the books if they're able to sneak it in and win it with 2? I'm just looking around, and it's only Klas Digital Athletics with all 4 standing. Ryzen is down for Bigetron, which is their only player who needs to get res. It looks like they should be able to get that with this smoke. It's going to get popped right in front of them. Futbolist now down to 1 after a strong position on Ferry Pier.
Beer 11 really doing work here. See our live league ranking on the side there. You see 4 Angry Men, 115 points. So they're pretty far ahead right now in the triple digits. RQ just down to 2, but we saw what they could do with that yesterday on Miramar. Shots come out from Solus. Digital Athletics would love to get rid of RRQ so they can start to make their way into the circle. Luxy, again, being that aggressive scout for the team. He's made his way onto the roadside. Abrupt Slayers still in the game. And Spalv, actually all the way on the top side. He goes
down.
Oh, I've cursed.
He's been healing for quite a while now, but that leaves 8 teams in the lobby. The push on the northern side really going to come to a head now as the Abrupt Slayers make the push first. Joker leads out with the buggy. Svan not quite able to land the spray down there. Answering Heaven, not actually towards 4 Angry Men. That is Klas Digital Athletics that they are taking shots on towards. Ernie finally taken down as Futbolists make the push as well. That's them eliminated. And RRQ down to 1 on the south side. Bigetron controlling a huge chunk here. Loops somehow. Kajovsky still in the fray, but will continue to crawl his way in. Klas Digital Athletics, though, making a strong position into this circle either side of the road.
Oh, seriously, a big statement here from Digital Athletics. Beer 11, though, by himself on the south side. Massive fighting going on from 4 AM right now, though, versus Abrupt Slayers. But in kind, the knocks are coming back.
They're just getting crunched by this circle. It's brutal for them. If only one of them could clear the other out, they might have a little bit of leeway to try and take on Bigetron. They have the high ground on the fight, but neither of them can move to vantage from it.
Beer 11 actually drops into a vehicle. He's actually trying to make his way into the circle. What a bold move from him. And he managed to do it, but he's right on top of Kajovsky.
Oh dear, and that's going to be Beer 11 finally going down as well. The Secret Jin get eliminated in the meantime. 4 Angry Men pop off, and Svan, just a turret on the top there, able to get on the swivel and land the shots as he needs to, but fights continue to break out as 4 Angry Men lose their players around them. Just Svan now left standing, a Bigetron with 4, Klas Digital Esports with 4 as well. Only Svan, the solo player from 4 Angry Men.
Kajovsky finally goes out, but he has been the king of the shed for so long. Sure, it might not be a stately home, but it has been one that's kept him safe for a very, very long time. Digital Athletics with 4 on board. 4 Angry Men just with Svan, but they've got 8 kill points total.
Klas Digital Athletics now taking on the reigning champions. 8 kills, as you said, for 4 Angry Men, 7 for Bigetron, and it's Klas Digital Athletics who are on the western side of all of this contestation. They were ready to receive the commotion from the northern side that we saw in that rotation earlier, Blank. They didn't really have to deal with too much of it. The teams themselves dealt with it as it came, but the next shift comes through, and it's on the south of the road.
Klas Digital Athletics dropping down some smokes into the middle of the road here so they can start to make their way up to this loot crate, which provides that impromptu cover that they they might need to make their way in, and what a perfect time to get that knock too as well, John. This provides them a lot of time going forward. Svan is just trying to crawl his way in, being the snake in this circle, but Digital Athletics, they're concerned about this side of the circle. They have a lot held down.
I'm just looking at what Zuxi's going to be able to do here. You can see he's on the south, the only player from Bigetron on the off angle. Picks it up, steps up, looks to go for the push, but he gets spotted out. Can the rest of Bigetron now provide some cover for him to get into a stronger position? Looks like he's into the next circle, and the suppressing fire continues for Bigetron. Svan still alive.
Svan just crawling his way in. He's got a couple of silences on his weapon too, so he can be quite silent and deadly here. Solus drops back up again, and Raze moves up. This is really getting difficult. With that spot onto Zuxi, with Klas Digital Athletics being so observant of this circle, it's actually given them so much time to just provide pressure, as BRTR, they've actually been held down for so long.
The only thing that's keeping Bigetron alive at the moment is this little outcrop of headland between Klas Digital Athletics and their tree line. Zuxi now can start to leverage his position. The smokes have cleared, and the Svan can come through. A knock from Svan actually could prove disastrous for them as well. Luxy sends out over to the top, and they know where Svan is as well, looking for the nades as Klas send out nades as well. Everybody just bullying four angry men. The last player there, Svan, takes another little bit of damage, but he's not done just yet. We'll see what more he can do. I don't know how far he's going to go. Oh, Ryzen falls
amongst the chaos. That's a great nade on the top side. Luxy has to get away. 22 damage, just does not pop quick enough. And Svan holding it down,
looking to try and get the spray. Luxy falls. It's actually going to be the Azir distance. Oh, in comes Zuxi on the off angle, looking for more. Looks for the spray, goes up against Selim. That's four angry men eliminated in the meantime, and only one player down for Bigetron right now. Luxy has fallen. Raze behind the headland, but he gets spotted, and Zuxi's doing so much work, Blank.
They are weathering the tide.
What? The nade! The nade from Bigetron, they dunk it over the top. Slam! Damn! That is a win for Bigetron yet again.